So I want to preface this by saying it is graphic. It is not in any way, shape, or form for the faint of heart. And the second video, which is slow motion, we will be taking a look at, and it is more zoomed in. It is also going to be graphic, so viewer discretion is advised.
You better fucking not. I swear to God, I'll fucking shoot you right in your fucking face.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Drop the fucking pot! Drop the fucking pot! Drop the fucking pot!
19 shots fired.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Drop the fucking pot! Bring EMS now. We got a headshot wound to the female. Headshot wound to the female. 1078.
Dude's a bitch, bro.
I hate him so much.
I was on. I'm gonna go get my kit. No, headshot, dude. She's done. You can go get it, but that's a headshot. God damn it. God, fuck. Dude, I'm not taking fucking boiling water to the fucking head. And look, it fucking came right to our feet, too.
Because
they moved forward, though. They moved forward, which is why it came to the feet.
God damn it. You good? I'm good. You good?
And this is what pisses me off. It's like the defense is gonna use that, but it's like the only reason the water came anywhere near you is because you shot her. It wasn't like she was throwing it and then you shot her. You shot her and she dropped it.
Yeah.
So, can we just talk about how this college kid, the profile that's sharing this is very disingenuous when he says it shows that she tried to throw boiling water at the cop. I didn't see that personally.
Oh, I didn't either.
She was scared to death, bro.
And it shows 36-year-old, whatever, Sonya.
Well, I'm not like
Massey.
I'm not giving any of that credence because all that's seen is the video currently.
That's true.
But yeah, no,
well,
there's a lot of disinformation.
I will say I have watched it in slow motion, and she did at some point try to throw it,
or
like very
she
slow
tried
motion.
to raise it up to defend herself.
That's what I was gonna say. Like I think it was more or less in a defense of, I don't want to be shot. Please no, and like it gets misinterpreted really easy. I think there's gonna be a lot of people who defend the police really hardcore. They're gonna
100%.
use that.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
people that just defend Darius, whatever the fuck, the guy that killed George Floyd. There's people that defend him.
Well,
It's
the unfortunate part is people are going to defend him. There's going to be people who defend him because he's white, and there's people that are going to defend her because she's black, rather than defending or either one of them for legitimate reasons.
The facts.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would say in this case, and I would need to know what their police department is and see their procedures. I very much doubt that he's following his training, he's certainly not following the proper rules of engagement, right?
No.
Because
He didn't use any de-escalation techniques. That's
Well,
what the
you're-
main thing
Not at all.
are
He
taught.
Immediately
escalated
it. Yeah,
He
exactly.
escalated,
yeah.
Immediately escalated it.
Also, if you're so scared of boiling water, if it is a threat to you, you would control the scene. Once it's your scene, your investigation, you would not allow her to go and retrieve, or tell her to go retrieve the boiling pot of water. And it wasn't included in this clip, but that's such an important key fact that's going to work against him, and it's going to work against the police department, is that they directed her, go attain this weapon. Right.
Well,
so
you
that
also, if you're afraid of boiling water, you don't advance towards the boiling water. You retreat. You put distance between what you believe is going to hurt you.
Yeah, I would normally defend the police, but in this case, from what I know about proper procedure,
Can't. There's
there's
It's
no defense.
indefensible.
You just can't.
There's no defense here.
just
So
like
let's
can't.
go ahead and finish. We got like another minute.
Yeah, I'm good. Holstered up. Let her fucking just... There's nothing we can do, man. Fuck!
That's also against procedure.
Yo,
You good? Alright. Fuck.
Are you good?
Well,
Did you get shot?
I mean, you know, what else do we do? I'm not taking hot boiling water to the fucking face, and it already reached us.
They got a 52 in route?
Yeah, 1078. They're 18. She's still breathing, but she's losing a lot of blood from the head.
Oh my god.
Which he should be providing.
He should
medical.
render aid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go get my med kit. I mean,
Yeah,
there's not
about
much we can
time.
do.
What a mistake.
Yep.
Fuck this
Which is
shit,
also
bro.
going to be used against him as well. Like
Yeah,
the fact
it
he
will be.
only he stopped the other guy from going to get it, noticed that she was still breathing, and reluctantly went to go get it. Like,
Yeah, he's
Here's
not
the
in a
other
rush,
thing.
is he? He's not in any kind
well,
of rush.
Here's the other thing.
here's the one thing, and then Ken, I'll let you have it. He legitimately he cracked a laugh when he said that it was a
Yeah.
headshot. He went,
Yep.
he was,
Yeah.
dude, that's a headshot. Like, it's like, bro, who are you? Like, who
Yeah.
trained
thing is-
you?
Legitimately though, if it was that damn serious, considering it was water and how far away he was, like
Mhm.
if he was going to shoot her, he could have popped her in the knee or popped her in the leg.
I agree.
It
No,
was such
no.
Well, not
No,
the
you
way
can't do that.
you have to aim for. He could have easily stepped back and just said, "I will shoot you if you do not move away from the pot."
They are
Like-
trained to kill. They are
Right,
trained to shoot
right.
for kill shots.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
you don't
They,
want
you
to
they
don't
have
shoot the
pepper
wound.
spray. Well, that's the thing, right? He draw his most. This is what I mean by like they didn't use any de-escalation techniques. He drew his most lethal weapon. They have stun guns. They have batons.
They
They,
do have
have
tasers.
pepper spray.
Mhm.
They have all kinds of utilities that they can do. But he went straight for the most lethal thing that he could have possibly done.
They
Well, it's
often
the same
do.
thing as the cop who said taser, 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 and then put 3 rounds into the dude. Like,
Right.
you know. So
And you're
this,
an idiot.
yeah. So this next clip is going to be of him returning with the med kit and his opinions of the woman. Everybody watching?
yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, is there anything you think we can do for her? All right. I'm not even gonna waste my med stuff then. You want
Jesus.
to run down real quick?
Nope, not yet.
All right. House is cleared. She was the only one.
Where's he going?
No, she had boiling water and came at me with boiling water.
You shot her?
Yeah. She said she was going
Yeah.
to rebuke me in the name of Jesus and came out with boiling water. That's what all this is. I was standing right here.
Alright.
And that's where she's landed.
What do y'all need from us?
Just nothing right now. Just hang out there for me. Thank you.
I need pranks and shit around the place of the house if you guys can. But other than that, that's nothing yet.
Anything else suspect?
Me.
Oh, I didn't know what happened.
They know he's fucked.
Yo.
Every one of them
yeah.
knows he's fucked.
As soon as he
Rat,
heard
bro.
why
Yeah,
he
dude,
shot her,
This fucking bitch is crazy.
The way they're looking at him,
mm-hmm.
Like it's
he
water,
knows
bro.
he's
Stop
fucked
it.
too. You see him pacing. He knows
Well,
he's
and that's
fucked.
the reason he just keeps on saying it over and over again. Like, notice how he kept talking about the water, how close it got to him. He's like,
Oh, yeah.
the dude heard. He's like, "Oh, where's the gun?" He's like, "Oh, no, boiling water." And he's like, "Boiling water." He's like, in his mind, he's like, "Oh, fuck this. I'm not talking anymore. Like, I am not asking you any more questions." Like,
Yeah.
They will
It's-
protect each other.
oh yeah, 100%. Because they have to be
Oh,
rolling.
yeah.
They have to be rolling.
Well, there's
Gang in America.
there's nothing wrong with them defending each other because the guy's on body cam. It's going to go the way that it's going to go. The guy
Mhm.
advanced on someone who had a short range weapon for the most generous characterization that I could give to it.
right.
He advanced within range. He advised her, go retrieve a weapon, and then I'm going to get as close as I can to you so that you can use it. So it's pretty cut and dry, and I'm sure all of
Sounds
them there know
premeditated.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and the amount of you can call it. Some people are going to look at it and call it guilt, but like the amount of him trying to justify what he did is what tells you he knew he fucked up. You don't have
Oh,
to.
yeah.
You do not have to constantly tell your side of the story and make a justification for what you did if you didn't think that you did anything wrong.
Well, that's
So he's arrested and no longer like on the
Oh, yeah,
force.
no,
right
Yeah,
now.
he's it's
okay,
a full
cool.
investigation.
So,
Beautiful.
there's a reason why I already know about like a lot of this, and I won't give exact locations, but let's just say this happened in the relative version of my backyard. I've known about this case for a little bit. The virality that it is now happening, I've known about this particular thing happening. I've heard her name. I've heard about the case. I've been watching it unfold. The thing is I have it makes me feel a very certain type of way because say I'm in that area and now I know that we have cops like this guy, this schmuck, asshole, whatever you want to call him,
Piece of shit.
that if I were to just simply have a slight weapon of his inconvenience and his characteristic, which granted, most people wouldn't consider a pot of boiling water a relative weapon. So it makes me feel a certain type of way knowing that something like this happened relatively close to me and I'm supposed to rely on them to be my protectors.
Yeah,
Good
well,
luck, bud.
Another factoid that's not really reported on with the virality of this, which more locals know, she was a known tweaker. Not necessarily... She was known to be somebody who is not in the right place of mind.
she's known to law enforcement. is what
Which
you're
explains
saying.
why she thinks she
Yeah.
heard someone outside.
Yeah. And that's why they're sitting... Most cops, whenever you bring up the whole ID thing, they get pissed off right away. You notice how, like, calm they were? They're like, all right, come on, just give us your ID. Like, let's go. Like that whole thing. But it's whenever she went for the pot that they were like, oh, hey.
The pot
Well-
that they told her to grab, by the way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just wanted
Well,
to
first,
get in- sure.
First of all, everyone listening, at least, should have the understanding that, for one, police are not required to protect you.
Correct.
There is no law, and in fact, it is enshrined law that they do not have to protect you. They do not have to rush in to protect you. That is upheld law. Secondly, any interaction with law enforcement, you should be aware this can go south at any moment. You should always have hands empty and visible. You should always be careful. You should be aware that law enforcement in general, high stress, high anxiety, they're constantly on the lookout for danger. You do not feel comfortable around law enforcement unless they're in your family, right? And even then, make sure they're unarmed at the time, right?
Yeah.
Like, if they're on the job, they're wired. They're ready for someone to just randomly attack them because guess
They're
what?
asking
That does
for it.
happen. Well, no,
They're
that does
asking for it.
happen. Even when they don't ask for it. You know, there's officers who've just been sitting and having lunch and someone has come by and popped one off, you know? So it's not always a bad cop getting what they deserve. And they all have to kind of expect that kind of behavior to come their direction or they die.
Yeah.
So we have to be on the defensive ourselves as well and realize that we could die in this interaction at any time. Even if we're innocent, even if we've done nothing wrong, we need to be like ready to meet our maker if we get pulled over and treat it with the seriousness that is.
But that's not something that,
Well, here's
as
my thing.
Americans, we should have to deal with. We shouldn't feel it. We shouldn't freaking
Well, see-
have to be afraid of a tyrannical police.
I
This is
agree.
what I
It
say,
is
though.
what it is,
They-
you know?
They chose that line of work. They chose that profession, so they know what they're getting themselves into.
All right.
It's kind of like I say with drug addicts. Why I don't feel bad for drug addicts. No one forced them to go down that road. They made that choice. Now,
Well-
people with the pity parties and all that shit. Yeah, I get it's a loved one. Yeah, I get it, right? But people have to remember there has to be a level of responsibility for them.
Of
for
course,
making that
but
choice.
policing is a noble profession, but there's no way to do.
Firefighting is a noble profession.
Well, they are too, but there's
I'm
no
kidding,
way.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, there's no way to function long term as a police officer and remain mentally healthy and happy and sane and normal
Oh, fuck
unless
no,
you're
fuck no.
working a desk job, right?
Right.
And even then,
And let's not forget
Well,
that
power
a
to 'em, man.
large amount of police officers become police officers after leaving the military.
Well, a large
Like, this
amount of
happens
them,
a lot.
Yeah, and a large amount of people put themselves in positions of power because they never had it. And that's another thing. A lot of like jocks and
Picked on
school
a lot.
bullies, or the opposite, where they want to continue on being the, big man on campus, never made it to college, or maybe dropped out of, freaking junior college or something. Maybe failed the ASVAB.
But it's like, do you guys recall when that cop, an acorn dropped on his car?
Yup, and he went
Yeah.
straight
Oh,
freaking, Sonic
That was
the
huge.
Hedgehog roll, and
He had such a PTSD episode, and I almost felt bad for the guy. Like, I know the internet was, especially the left, were laughing at the guy, and I get that. That's, fun. But the guy was definitely going through a PTSD episode. And I didn't look into his background, but if I had to guess, he was more than likely in the military beforehand. If I had to guess,
but he
probably an
also
infantryman.
thought he got shot.
He got shot, dude.
Yeah,
the hit that's what set it over the edge for me. Like
I'm hit,
the
I'm
rolling
hit,
around,
I'm
okay,
hit,
cool,
like-
bro. But yeah, like stop it, bro. Stop it.
So
Take a breather, chill out. You need to walk you need to think about what you're saying before you do it,
Here's my
because-
thing. If you're at that level where you think you got shot and you can put civilians and innocent people at risk because you think you got shot, you shouldn't be in that job anymore.
I agree.
No, yeah, 100%.
should.
If you do not have the ability to deal with it, you shouldn't be there. And I keep the same fucking energy for military personnel. If you don't have the competence and the confidence in yourself to lead or to be led or to be on a team, you should not be there. Regardless if you are in leadership or if you are not. If you are a liability, you need to hang back or put it up.
Well,
100%, dude.
you're more familiar, being former military here. Doesn't it take some time? Doesn't it take some repeated engagements to kind of adapt to a combat situation? Like,
there's
don't
never-
people?
Yeah,
Nothing's ever the same, bro.
nothing's ever the same. It's all situational. But the end of there is training, yes, and you can become more and more desensitized, like we saw with the FBI Overwatch. But
Right.
he isn't. The problem is that he is so tightly wound. The both of them, it's like they are. What's the word?
Trigger happy.
Well,
They're waiting on
not
the
just
words,
trigger
yeah.
happy, but they are so worried that a situation is going to happen that they caused it themselves.
Well, maybe it's for Acorn,
Well, yeah.
for instance. Maybe that's his first instance of combat.
Yeah.
Is the Acorn, right? Maybe
Well,
that's
the
the first
other
time he's
thing
drawn
too-
his weapon.
Well,
The other thing too with the
So
with the military though, the rules of engagements are always changing.
Mm-hmm.
So you can train for one thing, but like say if your code status black one day, which is a fully loaded magazine in the weapon, one round in the chamber, and then let's say a week later, like okay, we're going to downgrade to amber. Amber is fully loaded magazine in the weapon, but nothing in the chamber. Right. Some people may still keep that round in the chamber just because of what was happening before. If they get into some shit and they start firing out and it was found out they were not in that amber status, then they're going down and it's going to be a bad day for them. So it's always changing. So having to adapt, but you're so used to one certain situation, it's hard to compare. It's really hard to compare.
It is, and at the end of the day, though, it's all supposed to be based. Your actions are supposed to be based off of previous experience and an understanding of the fluidity of the situation itself. So, like, you also have to train bad habits out of people too. So that's the other thing, and sometimes you, depending on what you are or where you are or what like type of militarized organization you do, whether it's private contracting or policing or whatever, there aren't the regulations and requirements isn't always the top notch. When you get some podunk towns and stuff, like they become a damn police officer because that was Jimmy who just graduated. I know Jimmy's dad and his uncle. Sure, come on down,
exactly.
and that's the
New York
thing,
City is different from Fayetteville, Arkansas.
yeah, exactly. And here's one thing that I had to constantly be drilled out of me when I was in the Marine Corps was when I was sweeping and searching rooms, that you don't let your muzzle drop lower than your waist. And it had to just be pounded out of my brain in order for me to actually get it, because you are so used to check it. It's like they teach you check one part with your gun and the other with your eyes, and you have to check it at the same time. But if you move your muzzle downward into a corner, you're gonna get shot from anywhere else. And my staff sergeant was like, "What are you shooting? Who are you shooting down there? Mickey Mouse? Like, where you think that the Haji's just gonna be there in the corner? No, keep your rifle. Yeah, keep your rifle waist high. Your eyes are the only thing allowed to drop below your waist." And that is such a difficult thing to train out of somebody.
Well, now imagine like being in any of your previous military situations, but it's just you and maybe one guy, maybe. And you're having to go deep into enemy territory. You're in enemy territory the entire day, and you can't, you have to have kind of the soft hand. You can't just be at the ready. You can't have weapons drawn the whole time. Like you have to kind of do more of a hearts and minds kind of thing, for lack of a better comparison. And that's the experience that police have to have. Like, they literally are constantly in a military situation. They have backup that is minutes away, but it's not always there. Sometimes they're alone, right? So it's a very kind of high stress situation, and you don't feel like anyone has your back either.
True.
You know, like,
well, they are correct in the sense that there's one of them to hundreds of us, right? And then on the other
100%.
hand, too, is that policing used to be, or police used to only be hired within their own like neighborhood or their own patrolling of their own county. Yeah, whereas now, like here, right, if you have highway patrol, they could police 3 counties over. They don't know the situation out there. They don't know the gangs out there. Maybe they don't know all of like the politicalness of that county or how things run in that county. And then they want to go police it, cause a whole bunch of issues, and be way more willing to be, let's say, less than kind, because they don't have to then lay their head at night with the same people they're policing.
right.
Well, see, the thing is, in the 70s and 80s, they tried to push this concept called community policing.
Yeah.
And what that was certain people were, I guess, they were stationed, for lack of a better term, they were stationed to a certain part. Yeah,
Corners.
depending on where they are. And the idea was they were going to put themselves in these communities where the people would see them every day. They were supposed to be friendly and just to try to build some sort of rapport with that community. So that way they weren't just seen as the bad guy. Now, a lot of police stations have gone away from that because they don't like the idea of it. But I do kind of get where they're coming from as far as the community policing thing, because they feel that it'd be better to police people that you were familiar with and cordial with versus just dropping you some random ass town and you got to do your job, right?
Well, it's also a form. It's also a form of not liability. What's the word? It's a form.
Well, there has to be a level of trust between the community and their law enforcement.
So that's what I was going to say. There, it's a form of accountability, because again, you're not going to go kick down. You're not going to go kick your neighbor down the damn stairs and then try and go to sleep at night without both eyes open. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to go in. You're not going to go bust down somebody 2 cities over, and then it's not that hard for them to be like, "Oh, what high school did you go to? Was it the first high school or the second high school?" You know, because in some places there's only one high school, and everybody knows everybody. You know, and so that's the other thing. It's a level of accountability that you have to trust. That that your community has to trust that you are going to police it in the most fairest way possible. And you are wanting to do so because, again, 100 to 1.
And it shouldn't be like a military situation.
Right.
But it is.
It is.
Right. They're not safe in any kind of situation, no matter... if you bring your kid to the station to meet a cop, they're still not safe. right?
Exactly.
It's
So
it's never safe.
allow me to tell you a story of how I almost got killed by undercover police officers. So my friend and I, yeah. So my friend and I, we went to go to the movies, right? And unbeknownst to us, apparently there had been multiple car break-ins, and the MO was a tinted car or a car with tinted windows that was backing up next to cars, and they would break into it behind the cover of the car, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? Me growing up the way I did, growing up around like people and drug dealers and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, the way the cops pulled up on us, had I had my pistol on me, I'd be dead today. Because we backed up, and as soon as I was barely opening the door, the unmarked police car immediately rolled up, blocking us in, and both doors just immediately kicked open. And I reflexed and grabbed my waist.
That would have elicited any type of fear response from anybody. Like just suddenly, like you don't know, especially was it unmarked? You said
it was completely unmarked.
Yeah, no, I would have been doing the same thing. I've been like, nope, get me out of here, get me out.
No, see, I wasn't in the get me out of here. I was in the, I thought I had my pistol on me. Like, I immediately went back to thinking I was like, I had my handgun and my rifle on me like I did in the Marines. It was just reflex. I had one foot out the door. My other foot, is sitting there. I reflexed back. And as soon as like they popped up and I saw their gear, I immediately like moved my hands away. And they popped out all cordial, and they already had their hands on their rifles and everything. And they were like, stand right there, stay there, don't move. Da, 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 da. And then they talked to us and everything. And I was just like, in the back of my head, I'm like, I'd be dead today. If I had my gun on me, I'd be dead today.
What movie were you going to see?
I don't remember.
Could you imagine if you died on the way to see like 47 Ronin? Like that dog spit of a movie.
Oh,
the only movie I've
imagine almost dying on your way to go see Miss Marvel or something like that.
Yeah. But that's how quick a situation can go. But at the same time, it's like that is by the grace of me not being just a regular civilian who did have his gun and being a former Marine and seeing and being able to react in split-second timing, even if I did have my gun on me, it is entirely possible I could have walked away from it. But at the same time, the fact that I didn't feel it there is what stopped me from raising my hands up. If I had it holstered, I would have immediately pulled it straight up. And life could have gone different.
We would not be on the podcast
right
now.
It's entirely possible, bro. It's just one of those things where it's like, as police officers, they I don't want to speak for all of them, obviously, but there is a level of lick our boots in their minds. There is a level of we are superior. We have the right to do this. We can, fuck around and find out, blah, blah, blah.
A lot of videos, you'll see cops let that slip too. Like, do what I say. I'm a police officer. You have to do what I say. Hell, I've had cops say that to me personally. Like when I had a cop that wanted me to go make a left turn on a red light into oncoming traffic, and he like turned his lights on and he says, when I tell you to go, you go. And I'm like, into oncoming traffic? Like, what are you talking about?
Well, unfortunately, that is the law. And they can tell you to put yourself into dangerous situations. And you pretty much have to just
and you can be arrested. You can be arrested for denying or for not doing a lawful order. I do want to just go ahead and say Ken dropped out, no fault of his own. His power did go out. He's having a thunderstorm issue going on. This is a Tommy situation. We are not copying the whole cow show. His power
Rest in peace, Ken.
R.I.P. brother. We'll see you next time. Go enjoy your wife for the night. You're good.
Well, we are at an hour 20, so
we
I
haven't
know
even
there was
got to the Chris Tyson. Yeah, so
right. So I don't know if you want to save it for the next one or